Hey guys, welcome back to the Chaos Club YouTube channel. On the last episode I did a whole lot of damage. So this episode I fabricate a new set of chromoly lower control arms. I make a set of front runner wheels out of my damaged old wheels. I'm going to make an active exhaust for it. So I'm going to try and bridge the gap between street car and race car. And finally I get hold of a T56 Magnum. I'm still doing the welder giveaway. So if you want to win a Fronius DC TIG welder, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed, hit comment TIG underneath this video, and hit the bell so that you'll see the giveaway next time. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, currently at 945, so it's pretty close. So hopefully on the next video, you share it around, you should be able to do this giveaway. Bit interesting stuff in this one, a little bit long, so I'll try and keep it quick, and stay tuned. So after my stock control arms gave up, I thought I'd start making my own. So my first idea was these, and I wanted to be able to run the standard spring height. I thought it wouldn't be an issue having a bend in it because lots of front control arms and all that have bends in them. However, they don't have the torque of the engine running through it. So gave up on that. Next idea was this. Now, chromoly. Just got all this back from the laser cutters. I like it. I can run standard height springs, exactly the same as what's in there. I'm just getting some spring perches cast at the moment. I'll look at getting some CNC done if I want to do any more. I've got to buy quantity, so just for a prototype, I'm just going to get it cast, clean them up in the lathe, put these together, and then I can run a full height spring and not lose any of the travel. Just going to try and get some shockers to match. Should be a good thing. And hopefully retain a lot more strength. Okay, so I've got my lower control arms all tacked together. I've just set them in place to see if I like it. See how it's all looking, making sure everything's going to work right. It's all looking pretty good. The spring angles and all that's going to work out fine. Still waiting on the perches. They'll be back soon. Clean them up in the lathe and they should be good. So with any luck, it all holds together. It's much stronger and hopefully a bit lighter than what I had. I'm going to invest in a better set of shockers. As you can see, it's all still untubbed. I want to try and keep it that way and see how I go. The proof of these is going to be in the 60 foot times. So I might up the RPM and work on a bit of clutch slip. You can buy those automatic clutch slipping valves, but like everything else, I want to try and do it the hard way. So I'm going to avoid using that and see how far I can get with my clutch control, which is probably average. See if I can get better than 1.7s in the 60 foot. Get down somewhere in the lower 10, I'll be stoked. It's Saturday night, 9:30 or something, about 4 degrees, absolutely freezing. Going to play in the bush tomorrow, so might not be that much progress tonight. Alright, so I just got done welding up the second one. It's come out not too bad. Some of it I'm reasonably happy with, some of it not so much, but I think it's going to do the job. Looks like it's undercut, but that's just the gas doing something funny for some reason. I'll have to try a different shield, I think. Anyway, it's come up not too bad. I did stitch up the draftsman. I gave him the wrong size tube when he was doing the drawing, so we've got to tidy that up a little bit. But all in all, I'm really happy with the way it looks. I think it's going to be plenty strong enough. Hopefully I haven't overcooked it. Guess we'll have to wait and see what happens on the start line next time. Hopefully makes everything a lot more rigid. Get these 60 foot times down a bit more and I should be cracking. So one of the issues I've been having with the car is it's very loud. So whenever I go to take my family or anything anywhere, kids have got to put earmuffs on, sitting in the back, and no one's very happy after a little while. So what it has had, it's got one 3-inch straight through muffler there, and twin 3-inch up and over the diff. As you can see, I've had to clear it a few things to get it in, it's all pretty tight. So what I'm going to do is I've got myself some 304 thick wall stainless pipe, tube. Got myself some 3-inch stainless steel shaft, some plate and some round bar. What I am going to do is lop the exhaust off at the back of the muffler. I'm going to make a new tailpipe out of 2.5-inch stainless steel. Instead of using scrap pipe this time, we've gone all out and bought some bends. Hurting from that because this stuff's not cheap. Anyway, I'm going to have a 2.5-inch tailpipe out through one real quiet muffler out over the back. And then off the back of the muffler, I'm going to see if I can have a go at making 2 stainless steel boost activated valves, or loud valves as people tend to call them. So that's the back of the muffler. And what I got down here is I've got the signal from my second fuel pump that comes on. I can set that in the Holly to come on at either throttle percentage or under boost if I want, so whatever happens first. So that's what I'm going to do, is make up 2 valves to go on here. And I put a motor of some description, not sure yet, wife motor or something, gear it up. 2 valves there that'll come on when that second fuel pump comes on. So hopefully, when I'm cruising around the street, I'll have my nice quiet 2.5 inch tailpipe with a thick muffler, with a bit going on inside. And then as soon as you stand on it, she'll open up and won't rip. It's a plan, if it works or not. And so you can buy them. Read any good reviews on any of the ones that you can buy with a boost actuator on them. I think they all look a bit flimsy and cheap. They all come from the same place in China probably. Some people, I've seen braces and stuff on the butterflies inside them to stop them playing up. So I'm going to see if I can have a crack at making some a bit heavy duty. Obviously I don't have to reproduce them, so I don't have to make them cheap. I just got to make one set that works well. So worst case scenario, if they leak, it'll be as loud as it was before. That is where I'm at. Got some machines, got all the stuff, so I might as well put it all to use and see how I go. So a while back on one of my previous episodes, I picked up this old mill. It was $500. It was pretty good, I thought. I paid the same for my lathe. Got it home, turned out the motor wasn't so good, so I had to convert it back to 3-phase, which is all good because I'm an electrician, so it didn't cost me very much. Mate gave me a motor for it, which was awesome. Tooling, turned out it was pretty hard to get tooling for it as well, so I had one of my good mates make up a tool holder for me to get that working. And I picked up some old carbide tools from my buddy that does CNC machining. They got buckets of them that they recycle and they sell when they get a little bit dull. What I did do was went down to Melbourne to Heron Forbes and I picked up a rotary table, they call it. So now I can mark one spot, I can turn it set amount of degrees, and then in this instance 180 degrees, and then drill a hole on the opposite side and it should be right in theory. I'm still getting the hang of setting it all up. I'm by no means an engineer or a machinist, so still learning, but I invest in tools instead of paying other people. I can see you can buy these online, the valves that I'm making pretty much for about $80. Comes with an actuator on them, made in China. Don't seem to last, everyone seems to not be very happy with them from what I read online, so thought bugger it. I'll end up using this for lots of different things in the future. So I'll fast forward a few steps. I've machined up my bits of pipe, cleaned them up a bit, got my holes bored, all in the same place. I've measured the distance between the outlets on the muffler, so I can make that the same size. And then I've got my butterflies, I've cut off my shaft. They're going to go in, sort of like that. I'm going to machine some flats under this shaft so that these are in the centre, so the little pivot's right. Got the right cutting bit for this, so I might even, for the mill, I might even cut a groove across there so it locates correctly on there, and then weld it up. Bob's your uncle. And I've just got to put the motor on one side of it and see how we go. I've taken these down to 4mm, so they're very strong. I think they should hold on pretty good. I'll put them so the exhaust gas is pushing against them, against that shaft when they're closed. So I'll push on, get this welded up. It's about 11 o'clock or something on Saturday night. I assume everyone else is doing the same sort of thing, I don't know. Anyway, it's keeping me occupied. So now I'm going to have a go at machining a couple of recesses into there to match up with the flats on the shafts. Should just help locate it a little bit better. Got those flats machined onto there. Just got to get some stainless steel screws. I'll drill and tap them. I'm just in the process of turning up a couple of lips that I'm going to have a half moon one side and a half moon the other side. And I might even try and make a little bit of a seal yet to go on them just to help seal them up a bit better. I'm just turning that out of the shaft that I made the butterflies out of, so it'll be nice and round and hard. So that's my shaft all machined up, drilled and tapped nicely, except for that 3 broken taps. Not very happy with it anyway. For some reason, somehow I've managed to get that out of line. Alright, so I've got the majority of my valves all put together. Seems to be moving pretty good. I've welded the extra pieces in there for the butterflies to close up against. It's the back of it. I haven't got a gasket or anything in there yet. I'm not sure about that, if I'll be able to do that. I was thinking about putting some heat-proof sealer or something in there. If I can get it to stick on one piece and not the other and stay there. Not sure. I'm going to weld V-bands onto a couple of V-bands onto there and fully weld it around here carefully and try not to warp it all too much, but hopefully it does the job. We've got to cut it off, put a motor on one side, trim the other side up, and hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. I know exhaust leaks can sound pretty horrible, but tiniest little leak doesn't sound very good. We'll see how it performs. It'll either succeed or fail. So one of the things I needed to do was get a new set of front runners because the ones I've been using are borrowed. I've got the back ones that I had stuffed when the control arms failed. Got a lathe, they happen to fit in there. I thought I could have a crack at narrowing these up myself. These are 6-inch rims, I've got 7-inch rims. Just going to use the outer off that and the outer off the 7s, center out of the 7s, cut it all up, put it back together, and I'll see how it goes. Doesn't quite fit in the lathe the way I thought, so it's in there. Got a real long boring die hanging out on it. I might see what happens in a minute. Ugh. If I see a lot of chatter. Haven't tried it yet, so see what happens. This could be a complete disaster. Might be good for a laugh anyway. So this is wheel number 2, it's a 7-inch one. I don't know, someone said that you have to use 7-inch wide rims to do this, but the pieces I'm using off these are the same. The extra width in these rims is actually in this section right there. So I'm not sure. I'm going to mark it with the lathe. We've got to be careful not to damage the center of this one. So I'm going to mark it with that, and then I might cut it with the angle grinder so I don't go too wide or deep, and then see what happens. Cut the weld off on the inside and try and get that piece away. Try and keep that pressed into that for the offset so it doesn't change. Not that it really matters, I can set it back where it is without too many issues. Give that a go, see what happens. Now I've got the outside all cut, I'm going to cut these inside welds out and then I'll heat it up and try and get that outer ring off. Got a bit rough and impatient, it's taking too long. It's pretty rusty in that inside. I think the center's moved a tiny little bit, so I'll have to try and straighten it up. We'll clean these edges up, straighten it all up, get all the rust off, put that together, and then hopefully it ends up true. We'll see. I learned something anyway, what a prick of a job. battle. I'm sure that looked as rough as guts, but I did the same with the other one, and when I put it back in the lathe and checked the run out, it was better than what I started off with, so should be all good. Just got to weld up the old valve hole on the outside of the 6-inch rim. Weld that up, beat around there, check the run out, get some tyres, good to go. I'm keen as to get racing again, I can't wait. It's been far too long. Pretty cold here at the minute and I'm sweating after that, so probably tells a bit of a tale. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it, but anyway, seems to be working. Should be right. Send it. Rightio, I'm gonna have a crack at welding the outside of this wheel. Just set up a bit of a dodgy jig. I'm just gonna turn it with my hand. I'm not going to do it in my lathe in case I cook the bearings or something. I'm gonna weld it with my gasless MIG. It's this Uni-MIG razor one that I've been using. I like to think of it, it's a bit of a cross between stick welding, MIG welding, and smoking 4-pack. It's a Winnie Blues a day. It's rotten stuff, but best part is I don't run out of gas in the middle of the night at some awkward time. I'll leave my bottle on. Does a pretty good weld, looks really strong, otherwise I wouldn't do it. So I'll have a dip at that and see how we go. Just gonna turn it by hand, try and get it consistent. Not quite sure what else to do. Rightio, got my wheels all finished, got them painted up, and they look pretty true. Looks reasonable to me. I think all the welds are going to hold. The real test is going to be when the wheel joint tries to balance them, see if they're any use or not. What's the worst that's going to happen? Just fly off when I'm doing 140 or something one day. Anyway, I'm going to do a bit of an unboxing. I've just ordered a set of Afco rear shocks. Got these through Pro 9. A lot of people are running the Viking ones. I think they look pretty nice too. These Afcos are a bit dearer, but I'm hoping, do it once, do it right. Hopefully it's something I don't have to go over again. And with any luck, these coupled with my new control arms, providing they work, as I hope they will, hopefully I can get my 60-foot time down a lot. I'm going to try a new strategy also with the slipping the clutch, if I can, because as it is now, it bogs down. Very nice. All nice and billet and blue and very impressive looking. Got adjusters on the top. So these have had the pin fitted to the top of them. So that means that they bolt and they've got an eye at the bottom. So they're made to bolt straight into a, I think it's VB to VS, live axle Commodore. It's a whole lot more impressive than the $100 cheapest ones I could get on eBay at the time. That's what I've been running, they've been doing the job. But with any luck, I can improve that 60-foot time. I've only done 171 or something at the moment. I can get that down to the 1.4s or 5s or something like that, then I'll be onto something. But it's going to take a fair bit of work. I'm going to chuck these in and make some progress. Rightio, so I just got my shocks installed. Got them up here. We're a bit light on for electricity at the minute, so a big storm ripped through here. No one's got power, it could be a couple of days, so got to make up a couple of bushes. Suit that bolt size. Straighten up my brackets. I think they got a little bit bent last time. I'm going to probably end up chucking an adjustable panhard right in here as well, since everything else is adjustable now. We've got to finish that exhaust and clean under here. Rubber life. Right, all good. Going pretty nice. Just got the clickers. Very nice. Hopefully they work as good as they look and cost. Rightio, we've got some electricity. So I just got done machining up some spacers to put into these Afco shocks because they don't go straight into a Commodore. Even though that's what you order them for, it's a little bit disappointing. These $100 for a pair Ultima shocks. They fit. Anyway, I use them in all different applications and whatnot. Got those ones in. So this is as they come. Got that eyelet in there. These spaces just slide in there. We could drill the, a bit hard in one hand. Could drill the plates out and just put bigger bolts in there and washers or something, I guess, if you really wanted to. A little bit snug. Goes up in there. Something like that. Very fancy. Can't wait to try them out. They're probably about the fanciest thing I've got on here. So it should be good. Still waiting for me spring perches to get cast and my gearbox, because in massive shortage of trying to get stuff at the minute, so that's taking the pressure off a lot of other stuff. I can't get one no matter what I do, but they tell me maybe a couple of weeks they might have one, but see what happens. Don't really want to go on auto, but it's even crossed my mind. So got electricity now, so I better get rid of this later, eh? So that's what I'm up to tonight. Chipping away at it. So now I've got my shocks all mounted up. They come with these instructions. It's all about cars, 840 and slower, 840 and faster. I'm just trying to find the instructions for the cars that have no business having Afco racing shocks in them. That's all good. So it's about heavy door cars and stuff, so we'll have a play with that and see if it gets me anywhere near it. I'm sure it's going to be a fair bit of trial and error. Clicking around, see what happens. Alrighty, so now I've got all my shocks and that mounted up. It's time to get back to my exhaust valves. So I've got my motor and that mounted on there. Just folded up a plate, made up a little sleeve and bolted it in. It also screws on there so it holds it all together to the sleeve. It makes it a little bit tricky putting it together and pulling it apart, but it holds it all nice and tight and it's all working pretty well. I've tested it out with 12 volts and it seems to be good. So with the Holley Terminator you only get 4 inputs and 4 outputs. I've got one spare output if I want to use it, but because they're at a premium I'm going to save that for something else. So with my valves, as I mentioned, I've got the second fuel pump that comes on under boost or throttle position, and you can adjust both of those thresholds. So pretty much these valves are going to want to operate at the same time. When it's making power, you need them open. So this motor power's open and power's closed, and I didn't want to use mechanical limit switches on there because they can be a little bit finicky. So what I did do was I spoke to a guy called Jack from Allentronics, young fella, and I just told him what I wanted to do. I said I want this to open and close on torque. I want auto and manual features, and he just said, yep, no problems. And he's 3D printed me this box, and he set up all the electronics inside. So all I've got to do, this will be my signal from my second fuel pump. We've got power in there. I'm going to mount this in the boot with the battery. So valves will be closed. As soon as the second fuel pump comes on, bang, they open. As soon as the power goes away, closed. So also, as well as that, he's put a manual switch on there. So if I'm at the drags or whatever, I can just override it and have it open. Easy as that. How good? Allentronics. Young kid with a bright future. Check him out. So I pretty much got it all back together. I haven't put a muffler in yet because I just want to try it without one and see how it sounds. It's actually, I have tried it and it's actually way quieter even just with that. So that's awesome. Got the Afco shocks in, control arms in. I'm going to leave them raw for a little bit just so I can keep an eye on them. Put the valves in. It all sits a bit close to the diff while it's all hanging, but on the road it clears nicely. Same as the tail shaft. Got 2-piece tail shaft, chrome ollie, big CVs, all trying to keep it streetable, full handbrake as much as possible. Got the gearbox in, didn't bother filming any of that because that's boring. Although I pretty much could again shortly because in cleaning up, I just found my slave cylinder spacer that's meant to be in there. So guess what I'm going to be doing. Anyway, it's all gone in there pretty well. Just got to finish modifying the shifter and still waiting on the spring perches. But hopefully they should be very, very soon because other than that, I'm driving. So I'll give you a demo of how it works. I can set my camera up. Very happy with it. Alrighty, so I'll give you a bit of a demonstration. I'll click it over onto manual in the boot and I can show you how that works. So that's manual, so I can open and close it. Easy as that. close them, then flick it over to auto, and you'll hear the fuel pump kick in at the same time. So I'll operate the throttle body, and then you can see how it works on percentage. So as soon as you're up it, they'll just come open and that second fuel pump kicks in and off you go. Alrighty, I'm going to end this video off there. If you've made it to this point, I must be going alright. So if you enjoyed it, give us a like. And if you want to win the TIG, make sure you comment TIG below this video. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, and then you'll see on the next video. Hopefully I'll get it over the line and you might find out whether you've won. So with any luck, I'll be seeing you next time from the track, and I'm going to try and get this thing into the nines. See you then.